So, I thought this was kind of interesting. Speak, which, if you know, I've talked about many times on the channel before, it is a football show, very much like all the other football shows out there. It's not really anything more creative. If anything, I think there's a lot of idiots on their panel. LaShawn McCoy is like the top of the list when it comes to stuff that he says that blows my mind. Very anti-Bengal-esque. I think Joy Taylor does a great job on this show. I think, to a certain degree, he does also a great job. I don't know all the names. And then there's, I think, is it the old Packers receiver also on this show? We're going to be looking at the guys in a second. But they went and did their top AFC teams, according to Acho, which is this guy right here, for this upcoming season, right? And Miami Dolphins, number 5. I don't feel like the Miami Dolphins should be number 5. I don't know. I mean, who else would be? It's not going to be the Bills, right? The Bills are not number 5. Honestly, the Browns. And that's weird to say, but I feel like the Browns should be number 5. I have more faith that the Browns will be successful this season than the Miami Dolphins. I know Miami Dolphins, they got all the firepower, got everything they need. I just have more faith in the Browns than I do the Miami Dolphins at this point. But, I mean, I even have a little bit more faith if Aaron can stay healthy than the Jets than I do the Miami Dolphins. AFC-wise, though, the Colts are kind of a sneaky team. I think you gotta watch out for the Colts. I don't want to say the top 5, but I'm saying you gotta watch out for the Colts. Obviously, the Texans are number 2. Okay, yeah. When you really start breaking it down. Alright, Miami's number 5, whatever. Number 4 is the Ravens, right? Number 3 is the Bengals. Now, once I saw this, I was like, they needed something to talk about. And I have never seen a football show, at least recently, that has the Ravens, listed behind the Bengals. Usually everyone just absolutely loves saying how great the Ravens are. Best team in football, even though they haven't made a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. Even though they've been to one AFC Championship game with Lamar Jackson so far. Even though he's 2-6 in the playoffs. Hey, that's a nice 2-6 in the playoffs, okay? Won MVP twice, okay? Thankfully, because I was getting tired of the 2019 talk. Nonetheless, though, okay. Texans number 2. Chiefs number 1. Number 1, okay, listen. If it's a football show out there, it's like almost a legal obligation. They gotta put the Chiefs number 1. I don't care about that at this point. Texans number 2 is kind of... I think that's kind of soon. I mean, listen, I don't know. Texans are good, though. And I don't think... I mean, I love us, right? And I think we're great. We're amazing. I think we're better than the Texans, but... I mean, there is definitely 1,000%. There is a narrative to make that the Texans are maybe not number 2, but I mean, if you put the Texans number 4, I think that's really reasonable. Maybe like Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens, Texans, Dolphins. Man, that's tough though. Cause I know oh yeah, the Ravens destroyed the Texans. Okay, but this is a sophomore season for CJ Stroud. He gets even more weapons this offseason. They built around him, improved their defense. He gets Joe Mixon. He gets Stephon Diggs. This Texans team just got 1,000 times better. And the Ravens team got, not 1,000 times worse, but they got worse. They lost defense coordinator, lost Patrick Queen. They also lost Watkinson. They lost Ronald Darby. They also lost on offense some of the offensive line pieces. They also without Beckham. They've lost, right? They got Derrick Henry, but at the same time they've lost. Texans have gotten way better. We also have gotten to a point way better. Obviously, we lost Joe Mixon. We got Zach Moss. We got a right tackle finally. We got a free safety that I really have a lot of faith in, Geno Stone. Von Bell is back. We lost DJ Reader, but we also got Sheldon Rankins. And we also got finally a tight end that I think could be a startable tight end piece for us. But let's go ahead and listen up. I had to cover half the screen because the speak is crazy when it comes to taking down content. If you play any of their stuff, they take it down. So.
But because of the continuity of one particular team, I have them jumping all the way up in my top 5. Now, if you think about it, you got the Dolphins at 5, you got the Ravens at 4, you got the Bengals at 3. How about the Texans? To me, they are the second best team in the AFC behind only the Kansas City Chiefs. The addition of Stephon Diggs, plus the continuity of offensive coordinator Slowick. C.J. Stroud is only going to get better. DeMeco Ryans is only going to get better. Tank Dell is only going to get healthier. Nico Collins now has to go from being wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 2, plus Joe Mixon at the running back position. Defensively, you added another beast of pass rusher outside and opposite Will Anderson. Then at linebacker, you aided that position core in Jeff Okudah just to add a little extra at the cornerback position. I think the Texans made all the necessary off of them.
Yeah, again, like I said, I know obviously we're speculating for the future here. I don't hate the Texans being number 2. I think they are a really great team. Obviously, we're hoping that everything, if you're Texans here, you're hoping everything works out and comes together perfectly fine, because obviously we've had times in the past, like the Dream Team 1.0, 2.0, where that hasn't worked out, and it's been absolutely a mess, instead of being an absolute amazing achievement, but...
in the divisional round versus the Baltimore Ravens. So did I crown the Texans too soon?
Dang, Ravens all the way down to 4. Like, they just.
Oh my God. Burrow,
4.
you know I love me some Joe.
I mean, I like him too, but okay.
That's what you're doing?
It seems like we have a different topic.
You got JoJo Burrow and the Texans in front of Lamar Jackson. MVP just was in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, confident.
Explain that.
And I know Ravens fans are going to comment on this and get angry. But I also think there is something to take in consideration here if you're with the Ravens is, okay, they get a first-round bye, right? They get to skip the wild card playoffs. Awesome. Divisional, they go against a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, and yeah, they smack the crap out of the Texans. You're going against a rookie team pretty much. And then you get to the championship against a real team, the Kansas City Chiefs, and you crap the bed. You absolutely crap the bed. Refused to run the ball, fumbled the ball, threw an interception in triple coverage. The Chiefs handled business, and they beat you. I think with how bad the Ravens looked in that championship game, and now following that up, losing a lot of pieces on their team, I don't think it's crazy to say that they're behind us. You know, and I get, you guys didn't even make the playoffs. I get that, but we also had an injured quarterback. You know, when the Ravens had Lamar Jackson hurt, they were the first people to say, oh, we have no Lamar Jackson, that's why we're not good right now, we have no Lamar Jackson. Well, we had no Joe Burrow. Let us use your excuse.
Because Joe Burrow and them lost a lot, too. A receiver might not, he mad.
I trust, very simply put, I trust Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow has proven to be able to get further than the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, even when Lamar Jackson was an MVP previously.
And then Lamar beat the Texans.
Beat him down. Beat him down. Beat him down.
Sorry, Joe.
Which, again, I mean, a rookie quarterback in his second NFL debut. I mean, come on now. But, and again, I give Acho a real good credit here that, yeah, Joe has been farther than Lamar when it comes to he's gotten to a Super Bowl, gotten to 2 AFC Championship games, and at the end of the day, again, that's all it comes down to is getting the job done. The sad part is we were Logan Wilson phantom holding call away from winning a Super Bowl.
Beat him down. There's a huge exchange between the Texans' talent and the Ravens' talent. I can elaborate on that. So you think I've crowned the Texans too soon, obviously.
Go ahead, George.
I mean, I like what the Texans have done on paper, and I obviously they had an incredible season last year. I think that C.J. Stroud is going to continue to get better, but they have tape on you now, and you're not sneaking up on anybody now. And
I agree with her, but at the same time, and they show this on the screen right now, I mean, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Darnell Hunter, D'Amico Autry, Mario Edwards, Hasise, Jeff Okudah, C.J. Henderson, Miles Bryant, and Tommy Townsend. I agree that, everyone now knows the Texans, the formula, but it's like if people figured out the formula from last year, the Texans took that formula and threw it out the freaking window. Like, they just punted that ball 80 yards down the field. Whatever formula you think they had, they now have a completely new formula, and they're creating it because they're a different team. So, and then you got, again, a lot of quarterbacks, especially rookie quarterbacks, have great rookie seasons. Their sophomore seasons, they really blossom, and they really take off. So, I get it that, to her point, Joy Taylor, I agree that, yes, they're usually, it's like, okay, well, Lamar Jackson, for example. I'm not trying to pick on the Ravens here, but Lamar Jackson, his rookie season, right? As not rookie season. Rookie season, he didn't really play much. It was Joe Flacco got hurt. He came in, whatever. But his MVP season, nobody knew how to stop him, right? It was his whole craziness. Running around, doing crazy stuff. No one knew how to stop him. People caught on to the formula. The next season, he wasn't as great as his MVP season because people learned how to stop it. People learned how the Ravens were playing and how to beat them. The Chargers learned in his MVP season because they beat him in the playoffs because they learned how to stop him. I think either the Chargers or the Titans. I believe it was the Chargers. So again, like I said, I do agree with her. People figure out how to stop these teams. But the thing is, it would be like the Ravens that offseason completely shifting around their team, adding 1,000 new pieces, and now you're like, okay, so how do we stop Lamar when you have, for example, now Derrick Henry in the backfield, or you add like a star receiver on the left-hand side? So I feel like the formula is changed since last year. So now this year, teams are going to have to figure out again how to stop the Texans. And then it's going to be continuously trying to catch up with them.
And they're also going to look and see what's on paper and apply that to the game plan now. So the advantages that you had in being a complete underdog and completely overlooked and a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback are out the window now. So I do think you're going to get everybody's best shot. Now, maybe they'll be so good that won't matter, but I'm interested to see how off paper on the field all of that plays out. I think the Texans are going to win their division. I think they're in the top of the conference. I'm a little hesitant to put them above even the Bengals or the Ravens, historically speaking. But so I don't know if it's too soon. But yeah, go ahead, James. I'm a little sad part. I just don't want to drop the Ravens that far. I mean, it is.
That's fair.
It's a two-time MVP. It's another season in that offense. They added Derrick Henry. I realize they lost some pieces on defense, but
yeah, I just think it's a little bit disrespectful to Lamar Jackson. Main reason is Lamar wins every year
in the regular season.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
thank you, Sam Macho. In the regular season, he's 2-6 in the playoffs. I mean, at the end of the day, and you can't make the argument he doesn't have the team around him. You can't make that argument because he had one of the greatest defenses last year of probably the last decade. I mean, he had a great receiving core. He had a great running back core. Like, you can't even make the argument that Lamar didn't have the options last year. He just does not win in the playoffs. So, a 2-6 record, you're sitting there when you're like, and again, one of those wins was against a rookie everything. You have to take that consideration. So, again, for the regular season, yeah, Lamar is great. It kind of reminds you of Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was great in the regular season, but a playoff joke. And it is what it is.
So, it ain't like this was like a one-year wonder. We don't know what C.J. Stroud going to do next year. Do I think he's a phenom? Do I think he's an excellent quarterback? Absolutely. But Lamar has shown it year after year after year. This is a two-time MVP, and he slapped y'all in the playoffs.
He did.
And so, for me,
slapped.
Yeah, but you can make the same argument then what he's making now of why the Bengals then are better than the Ravens. Because at the end of the day, Joe Burrow, in his career so far, let me actually bring up 1 second. I'm going to bring up all the years he has played. So his rookie season, right, obviously goes down with injury halfway through. The line sucked, right? It is what it is. Second year, he goes to the Super Bowl. Okay, so second year, Super Bowl. Third year, he goes back to the AFC Championship game and comes one drive away from going back to the Super Bowl. And then obviously last year got hurt. So 2 of the 4 years for Joe Burrow, one's a Super Bowl and one's an AFC Championship game, one drive away from going back to the Super Bowl. So, to his point, as he's saying, giving credit to Lamar, you got to give the same credit to Joe because Joe has been in the same situation. Except the difference is, and Sam Acho talks about it, is Joe has gone farther. And while, yes, Lamar has had 2 MVP years, Joe has had 1 Super Bowl, 1 almost Super Bowl year. Which I think, you have to take in consideration. Also, Lamar has been in the league for longer than Joe. Joe's been in the league for 4 years now. This will be his 5th year. This is going to be Lamar's 7th year. So, again, in the 7 years, 2 of them were MVP years. 5 of them were pretty much stud years when it comes to him going far in the playoffs. 2 MVP years, 5 dud years. Joe so far has had 2 great years, 2 injured years. Obviously, Lamar has also dealt with injuries as well.
All that on paper could be true, but maybe the type of dude I am, out of respect, Lamar Jackson would have been at 2. You were the second best team in the AFC last year, would have been at 2. I don't know what the Bengals are going to be. Lost some key defensive players. Receiver ain't happy. Lost a really good running back in Joe Mixon. My dog Shady always say, I ain't seen Joe Burrow with not a lot of talent around him. Who knows how the Cincinnati Bengals are going to look? So I think they are up there too high as well. The Ravens at 4, that's the one that really stands out.
That makes no sense at all, though. How are you saying that first off, the Bengals did not lose a lot of pieces. They lost DJ Reader, which again, yeah, we had to replace him in the draft. I'll give you that. Joe Mixon sucks, and I love Joe, but Zach Moss is a better pass protector overall-wise. He's better between the tackles as a pure runner. That's not really like a complete downgrade. I think that's a very much an even playing field here, and then you got Chase Brown who's going to take off next year. And then, okay, well, T. Higgins is upset he didn't get paid. Cool, he's still a franchise tag. He's still in this team. He's still going to play. He's not going to sit out. He's going to play his whole entire year. So to say like, oh, well, we haven't seen Joe without weapons, what are you talking about? We're going to see him with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, now most likely Mike in the slot. I would say maybe in the slot, but Chuck Sizzle as well. And then obviously, yeah, maybe Brock Bowers potentially, right? Brock Bowers, Mike, you got Tanner Hudson coming back for another year. We got Zach Moss in the backfield. We got an actual right tackle to protect him. We got Geno Stone, Von Bell in the backfield. On defense, like, there's a lot of great options. Yeah, we lost a little bit, but we gained so much. I don't get the narrative that, well, we don't know what the Bengals are going to look like. We know what the Bengals are going to look like. We're going to look better than last year. That's pretty much that. And again, if you're going to say that the Ravens are number 2 because they got to the championship game last year, what are you talking about? That's literally, Joe has been there 2 of his 4 years in the league. He's been to the championship twice. He's beaten the best team. He's beaten number 1 team. If we're going to predict based on last season, okay. But this is supposed to be projected based on this season, this upcoming season. The Texans are number 2 because they're going to be a great team. You can't put the Ravens above the Bengals and then say, well, the Ravens, last season went to the championship game. Cool, Joe went twice, and he also went to a Super Bowl. And he actually won the championship game against the best team in football, the team that the Ravens lost to. So you can't use that as an argument to say why the Ravens should be above the Bengals. That makes no sense at all. The only thing you could even make an argument with is, well, the regular season head-to-head record, the Ravens beat the Bengals. Okay, they've beaten the Bengals with Joe Burrow hurt. They've also beaten him with him healthy. You could at least go into that narrative and kind of spell that, but then again, then your point in the playoffs is completely disregarded because one quarterback is 2-6 in the playoffs, and one quarterback, I believe Joe, is 5-3. So, or maybe less than that. I think he might be 5-2. Something like that. So again, like I said, it disregards your point.
I think you're tripping. Texans is definitely not number 2 in the AFC, but on paper, could catch a lot of people's eyes with what they have done, especially going to the playoffs and having the year they had.
So when we
last
talked
year.
about this, when the trade happened with Stephon Diggs, what did I say? You remember what I said?
Second team.
Second team. I said the Texans the second best team in the AFC.
Paper.
Whatever it may be. I watched a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach with a...
Yeah, so I'm going to end it there because whenever LaShawn McCoy, I think he's actually spitting facts right now, but at the same time, he kills me with some of his points. So, for the most part, again, listen. At the end of the day, I think the Chiefs, okay, whatever, they're number 1. It's a football show. They have to be number 1. I don't care. I think that we should be number 2, in all honesty. Based on what everyone has said here, LaShawn's going into the narrative of like, hey, listen, the Texans getting Stephon Diggs are the best team in the league, or second best team in the league. Cool, whatever. So I think we should be number 2 then. And I think, honestly, I'd probably put the Texans number 3, and then Baltimore number 4, and then Miami number 5. And I think that's probably a realistic expectation. If you want to keep what they have now, I'm not really too much against it. I mean, Houston is a really great team, so I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, Houston should be above us, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, listen, we'll find out this upcoming season. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.